Alex is the next DLC character to come to Street Fighter 6 on March 17th, and as exciting as that is, what's even more exciting is who Capcom got to do the motion capture for him. He is a former AEW World Champion, International Champion, Tag Champion, Trios Champion, 2 times, on top of a multitude of other titles won all across the world. He is the best bout machine, he is Kenny Omega, and he is here right now to talk all about the experience of becoming Alex. Welcome, sir.
You're making me blush. Thank you for that grand intro. It's wonderful to be here.
Well, it's wonderful to have you. First off, congratulations. I know that Street Fighter is a series that means a ton to you, and Alex is a character that means a lot to you as well. So, yeah. I mean, is this like a dream come true? How are you feeling about this moment right now?
Being able to do motion capture was always a bucket list thing for me to do. And then to do it for a character that I have so much love and passion for. And also not just do the motion capture, but it's almost an extension of all the stuff I do in the ring. It was fun, it was challenging, but at the same time, so rewarding because now there's kind of a part of me that lives on forever in this game. So I am so excited, so proud, and I can't wait until he releases.
I can't help but thinking. It seemed like a lifetime ago that I was spending my time fighting in the streets.
So how did this whole thing come together? Can you talk a little bit about the origins of this whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very odd story and kind of serendipitous in a way. I remember I was at Tokyo Game Show, I think it was 2023, so this is going years back already. And there had been discussion of me possibly being a representative for the Season 3 content. And they had asked questions like, hey, do you mind doing cosplay? Does it matter if you're bald? Do you care if we dress up as a female character? Things like that. And I said, where do I sign up? I had said, but you know what would be awesome? I said, if one of the characters were Alex. They kind of had a grin on their face, kind of telling me without telling me that, yes, Alex is going to be a character. And then finally, when the news broke and they told me, okay, we signed the NDAs and we know what the characters are, Alex will in fact be one of them. And they said, for you being such a good sport, it'd be cool if we, put a move of yours in, maybe 1 or 2 or a taunt or something. I had said, wow, that would be great. I don't know when I could fit that into my schedule to do the mocap for it. And they had said, oh, wait, you do the mocap for it? I said, yeah, is that what you were talking about or no? They said, oh my, if you would do the mocap for it, that would be awesome. And so a misunderstanding on my part is what led to me actually going to the studio and doing a slew of mocap for the character. If there was ever a better time to be stupid, that was one of them, because it worked out in my favor completely to not understand what they were talking about in that moment. So because of that one discussion, I got invited back to the next year's Tokyo Game Show. And then before doing the game show, I stopped over at Osaka, where they do the mocap for Capcom. And we hammered it out in one day. It was a grueling 10 or 11 hour shoot. I remember losing like 8 or 9 pounds of water weight, but it was so worth it and so fun.
So you mentioned that mocap was a bucket list dream for you. Was the experience different than you expected, or was anything about the whole process that surprised you?
What was surprising was how open they were to suggestion. It was always an open dialogue. Hey, like, if you want to tweak this move, or if you have any idea as to how to make this better, or how to make this feel more Alex, or how to make this feel more like you, they were opening to listening and opening to making multiple variations of maneuvers and specials and normals and things like that. That part I thought was really nifty. I know that in other games, it's just, you got to do it this way. This is the way we want it. This is the way it has to be. And until we get that way, you're going to keep doing it. But it wasn't like that at all. It was a mutual relationship of making this character together. That made it a lot of fun too. It was just being able to throw out suggestions and have them actually listen and have a discussion. Does this work for the game? Can we make this work? And some of the ideas, were left on the cutting room floor, but for the most part, it's really cool to see that a lot of the ideas and a lot of the mocap that I did do that I suggested were actually used, because it was all a big mystery until the unveiling of Alex's gameplay trailer.
So how extensive was the actual capture session? Obviously, we see a trio of your signature moves in the alternate level 2 super, but beyond that, how much of you is actually in this character?
I would say most of his big buttons were me. A lot of some of the lights and such, someone else had done them. we had a very talented group of people. It wasn't just me there. It was myself. It was my good friend, Michael Nakazawa. They had a contortionist there just in case I really needed to fold someone up. And I unfortunately had to. There was a decorated amateur wrestler and mixed martial arts fighter as well. There was a team of all of us. They used me as much as they could for that full 10 hours or so. Whoever remained came back the day after and I guess just hammered away what was left.
So talking about that motion capture session, Capcom was actually gracious enough to provide us with some of the behind the scenes footage of the mocap recordings along with the final product. So I was wondering, Genny, if we could show you some of these and have you react and give some insight as to what went down for all of these.
Yeah, please, sure. I'd love to see it.
All right, so here we have the walk-in animation after you select your character. Can you go a little bit through what your direction was for this?
So, there was no direction, actually. It was, we'd almost wrapped, and I was almost ready to take that suit off, and it was just soaked with sweat. Everyone's all tired, and I said, like, hey, is there a chance that maybe I could do, like, the intro part? And like, what do you mean, like, the intro? Like, the character intro when you're on the stage? I'm like, no, like, the yeah part. Like, the yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's do the yeah. And I said, is there anything in particular you'd like Alex to do? And he said, no. He said, he's a heel. Or in wrestling terms, a bad guy. He's a bad guy, do bad guy stuff. So I was able to do my one taunt that I always do in my matches before I do my, shaboom. I did like the fainting of the, hit a fan, like, no, don't get near me, don't touch me. And I did like the old, I'm going to be a champ pose. I was just kind of tossing things out there. And I was surprised to see that all of it made it in. Like I said, they were always just so open to suggestion. And even if they didn't have it written down as a thing to do, they always would bounce back off of me. Hey, like, if you have an idea, let's just try it. Let's just get it on film. Let's see if it works. And we tried so many things. And I'm sure some of it will never see the light of day. But to get all of those opportunities to do the intros, the moves, the supers and all that, and have various options and things, it was such a fun experience. It was tiring, but so rewarding.
Is it weird or different to do this kind of stuff in a capture studio versus doing it with a live audience where people are reacting and you're feeding off the energy of the fans?
I would have said yes, but I think because of COVID, I got used to wrestling and performing in front of no one. It reminded me of kind of being back into an empty arena and just having cameras all around me, but there's no sound. There's no adulation. There's no people. I see, staff here and there, but no, yeah, it brought back memories of the COVID era for sure.
All right, so next we're going to look at your level 1 super, the Raging Spear. So this is his level 1. Pretty simple. I don't think I've ever seen you use a spear before.
No, I've never used a spear before, which is why I had to ask, like, what kind of spear are we going for? Because there are so many variations of a spear, especially in wrestling. Am I doing, a Lashley type of spear? Am I doing a Roman Reigns type of spear? Am I doing a Braun Breaker type of spear? A Michael Nakazawa spear? I don't know these types of things, and that I am not a American footballer, so I've never actually done a spear ever. But they kind of said, like, yeah, it's just kind of like the standard level 1 get off of me move. So just charge into the guy, make it quick, and they kind of wanted me to like touch the ground and go with it. So I said, okay, I'll touch the ground and I'll just go with it. I'll launch myself into this guy.
I mean, that looks pretty good to me. Is there any different, doing a move on a dummy versus a regular person? Like a move like this?
Yes, it is. There were so many times, I don't know if you have the footage of it or whatever, but things like clotheslines where you have to do, 50, 60, 70 clotheslines, full blast. I feel like, man, I started to develop this, like a bruise in my forearm and in my bicep. I was like, I don't want to tear anything, but I want this to look good. So I'm just reefing on this dummy over and over and over again. And it doesn't react like a human would. So you can't, it's more stiff. It hurts a lot more, I would say, rather than like the soft tissue of a human body. Yeah, working with a dummy is much different than it is working with a human, and much different than working with a wrestler who's possibly trying to help you cooperate with the move.
So we will get to those clotheslines, I believe, when we get to Special Art 3. But first, we got to look at Special Art 2, which is the big one. This is the Omega Wing Buster. So when you were initially like told about this super, like, did they tell you that you'd use the whole, trio of signature moves going into your finishing move, basically?
They just kind of wanted to make sure that the setup and the move itself were included. And I said, well, this is normally how I'd set it up. And I said, I don't know how long this has to be, but it's sometimes can go on for quite a while. I don't know how many, like, I don't want fans of the game or people that don't know anything about me or Alex or wrestling to have to sit there and watch this super long animation. So it's incredible that they're able to get the whole, dragon, gunpoint, V-trigger, and the one-wing angel, one-wing buster in the game. And it doesn't seem like it takes an awful lot of time. It's really seamless. They did a great job with it.
How many times did you have to dump Michael Nakazawa on his head?
So many to the point where he had to sit out for a second.
Really?
It was, I don't know if you can see it. Well, I guess you can kind of see it, but those mats that we're performing on there, there's next to nothing there. It's really hard. And I wanted it to look hard because if they put a huge crash pad underneath us, I would have lost my footing. It wouldn't have looked good. And Nakazawa, he's not a complainer. He'll take anything. He won't complain about strikes. He won't complain about taking any bumps. He doesn't mind if it gets dropped in his head or whatever. But when you have to do a thing 10, 12, 15, 20 times, it catches up with you. So we had to sub him out. And that contortionist I told you about earlier, he subbed in. And I just felt terrible because, this guy isn't a wrestler. I know he's flexible, but let's just do one really good one so we can just wrap it. I think I gave him the most devastating one-wing angel of my entire career, and I think that's the one we went with. So I felt bad for him, but he was, in the end, happy that that was the take that we used.
All right, so let's take a look at the Special Art 3, or Level 3 Super. Now, this is the one you were talking about before. Oh, it's a chop, actually, not a clothesline.
I did both a chop and a clothesline.
The behind-the-scene footage that we got for this is just you doing the chop. Did you do any other kind of submission kind of motion capture, or were you told what the whole thing would look like?
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. The reference footage and the reference pictures that they had were submissions that Josh Barnett had used.
Oh, cool.
Which, another famous mixed martial artist and professional wrestler. So there's a lot of influence, not only from myself, but other professional wrestlers as well, going into this character. I used to do competitive jiu-jitsu as well. So, I'm no stranger to submissions and how to transition in and out of them. There were a couple that I did not do. One of his, I think, standard throws where he grabs a key lock and kind of trips him up. Mm-hmm. I think it might be his back throw. I did not do that one. A lot of the other stuff that I absolutely did, yeah.
Finally, as a longtime Alex player yourself, how do you feel about some of the changes that they've made to the character, from him no longer being a charge character to now having 11 throws that come out of this prowler stance?
Yeah. So part of the reason why I was hesitant to really devote myself to Alex in Street Fighter V was because he was a charge character. I'm not good at them, but I learned it just for the sake of being good with Alex. So for him not being a charge character anymore doesn't ruffle my feathers too much, but with so much knowledge to have to know with this character, that's the part I'm worried about. I'm getting old. I've been hit in the head numerous times. Is it going to even stick? Am I going to be able to retain all this information? I don't know. I can kind of be a slow learner at times with fighting games. So I will main Alex and I will be good with them, but I just don't know if I'll be good with them real soon. But I will be eventually.
All right, well, I'm rooting for you, and that's all the time that we have. Alex comes to Street Fighter 6 on March 17th as the third character of Character Pass 3. Now, Kenny, normally the IGN host is the one to close out these videos, but I have to ask, because there's no one in the world who can do it better than you. Would you mind?
All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you got a good little sneak peek at Alex. Hopefully you're looking forward to the character. Hopefully you're looking forward to Capcom Cup and everything that follows afterwards. Until next time, I must bid you adieu. So for now, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bye-bye.